If you think I'm being unreasonable, you can tell me so. And whatever happens, happens is how I feel about it at this point.
I don't want to be turned into a, I don't want our relationship to be turned into a bit, though. That feels like
No, this isn't a bit. This
pretty.
is just how it goes on or how it ends in my mind. And we work out what we work out. It's just honest. And I'm not doing a wacky bit pointing at it.
This is Total Babble. Total Babble. It's a show about music, pop culture, social media, movies, the internet, relationships, TV, whatever. Total Babble. The Total Babble Podcast.
Total Babble, back from vacation. And as you heard from the intro that I just used in the pre-roll, it's going to be different and weird. Here we go. Hi, Emily.
Hello, how are you? How's the door?
The door's fucked up. And let me just tell you how I got to the point that I'm at. And then you can tell me how your day has gone. And then we'll go from there. And maybe I feel like an asshole. Maybe I don't. Maybe we agree to disagree. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. Probably not going to be a normal show. We'll see how it goes. We're recording early this week. We had to do a reschedule because I am getting a camera up my ass in 2 days. And set all that up. We didn't do a show last week. You were on vacation. And I sent a thing to you as a reminder. Hey, we're going to do a show. Here's the time. Everything's good. Yes. So today, I started out my day actually getting tons of sleep, which was helpful. If I hadn't had tons of sleep, I probably would have flipped out and been in the street with a machete at this point. But I got up and did my normal stuff and did the day job. And oh, by the way, I have extra responsibilities this week for my day job because stuff is going on, but whatever. So I'm getting the studio ready here and I realize, I don't have my water that I drink during the show, and I go into my other room to get the water bottle, and I come out from that room and close the door behind me, and then I go back in to check something, and the door is completely jammed up, and I can't open the door. It doesn't even have a lock on it. It's just something has happened with the mechanism, and it won't open. And I try twisting it, and it just twists all the way around and won't open it up. So now I'm frustrated and full of adrenaline, and I decide I'm going to break the door in because I just don't want to deal with it in an hour and 10 minutes when we're done with the show. And do you know how hard it is to break down a door? It's very hard to break down a door, even a cheap door.
It's very hard.
I bash it, and it finally busts in, and it didn't break up the door jamb, but it broke up the door. So now I'm going to have the door replaced, and there's all that going on. And then being that we're recording early, I hear new noises from outside the studio. And I have soundproofing as much as I can get. But the lady next to us never stops remodeling her house. It's always new gardening and it's always blowers and this. And I'm just like, oh, fuck. And this is after weeks and weeks where we have had struggle with the show. It's often technical issues that I've got to deal with fucking Riverside FM and their fucking idiocy because they institute brand new features that they don't tell people about. And I'm like, oh, there's that. I guess that fucked things up. So it seems like there is always something like that. And I'm like, I just want to do a show. So as I'm thinking this, I hear the blowers from downstairs. And I'm like, okay, I just want to do a show. I don't want to struggle. So I get $20 and I go down there and I talk to our friendly gardener who also does our house. And I said, hey, normally you guys are here on Thursday. I'm doing a show. He doesn't really understand me. I said, doing a show, microphone. I said, here, can you guys not run the blower for the next hour? He doesn't want to take my money. He goes, okay. Said, no, take the money. No. And I said, no, here, at least take the money for your guys because it seems like maybe they're going to have to work harder with not doing the blower. So he does that, and now I have no more noise. So now I'm set and ready to do a show, and then, as is often the case, you're late to the show and you don't show up. I understand you have a busy schedule, and I'm feeling frustrated with all of that going on, still full of adrenaline after breaking down the door and talking to the gardener. And 40 minutes goes by before I hear from you, and we have a text conversation that is very heated. and you almost quit the show, and I almost say, screw it, go ahead and quit the show. But I like having you on the show, and it seems like you enjoy being on the show when you're on the show. And I get that you have a lot of responsibilities with scheduling and stuff that comes up. But man, I've been super flexible on that. And I brought this up ahead of time, and then I didn't hear from you. And this is usually in my mind what somebody does when they want to quit the show, because I've been through this a bunch of times, because often people don't really have the balls to really quit the show. They just decide that they're going to be flakes until they piss me off, and I fire them is usually the way it works out. And like I said, love you like a sister, but it was feeling very angry and like, okay, next what? And now I guess you're sick, and here we are doing part of a show. So that's my morning. How's yours been?
I'm sorry that you've had such a rough day. I think I have food poisoning. And so I've literally been turning myself inside out, and I'm feeling hot and cold and hot and cold. Quick question. Have I ever just totally ghosted you and like not shown up before?
Once, when there was apparently a mishap and you got the day wrong, to be honest.
Right. Have I ever lied to you?
No, but usually people don't. And I'm also, to be fair, this is not your fault. This is not anybody's fault. This is my issue. I am very not trusting in these situations.
Right. Yeah, I'm having an issue, and I would be honest with you and tell you that I was going to quit the show. All I was saying to you in my text message was I could tell that you were annoyed by the voicemail message that you left me while I was turning myself inside out.
I didn't think that was that bad. Was that bad?
I know you well enough to know how bad it was.
Okay.
And what I was simply saying to you was, please don't give me shit today because I can't handle it, because if you do, I'll quit because I feel bad. Because I feel really sick. And when you say that to me, that makes me think you just want to quit anyway, but don't want to pull the trigger on it. No, I was just saying, don't be a cunt today, please, because I can't handle it. So if you could just like dial it back, I'll come and hang out with you, but I just need you to be nice to me and tell me I'm pretty because I feel sick and you're my friend. Like, that's it.
Well,
I'm not
you're
trying
always pretty, but you're pretty like a sister. Know that.
No, exactly. But I'm not trying to quit. I'm fucking sick. And I thought I'd save this for later. You can hear me. I'm actually shaking because I have a bit of a fever, but I nearly sent you this text message.
Oh my God.
It's my vomit, you insensitive prick. My son had a birthday party last weekend, and he has thank you cards. And while I was in between meetings and preparing for the show, I was like, okay, I'm just going to quickly drive him around the neighborhood to drop his shit off. And as we were driving around, I had to pull over and throw up in one of my neighbor's front yards. And so then I got home, and my son's bringing me water. I'm sick. Our nanny shows up at this point in time. She is like, do you want some anti-nausea meds? Because she's been really sick. And I was like, yes, I'll take everything. I'm laying in my bed. I'm like shaking. And I'm telling my husband, I'm like, Stu doesn't believe me. And he says, tell him I told him to fuck off.
Good supportive husband.
And I was like,
I can get behind that.
I was like, I'm trying to, but like, I think I gave myself food poisoning. I cooked a roasted chicken last night. Now, please let the record show I'm actually a really good cook.
Sounds like it.
It did look a little bit underdone, and I'm thinking maybe I might have given myself some salmonella poisoning. And now I'm worried everyone else in my family ate it, but only I ate that part of it. The boys had like drumsticks, and so the temperature was higher. This is probably where you're like, well, that's what you get for eating meat. But yeah, all that. But last week when we were at the farm, husband actually became illogically just struck down with sickness.
You sure it's not COVID then?
In the middle of the day. That's where I'm going with this. So I've had a tickly throat. We've been sneezing. And so I'm thinking I might take a COVID test after this because it could be that as well. I was just thinking because we've been traveling and my husband was sick and shaky and everything for one day last week and then seemed fine the next day.
Yeah, because based on what you're describing, that sounds like the one time I had COVID that I allegedly didn't because it didn't test as such. But
yeah, and I feel very emotional. Like I feel very sad. Like I'm sitting in the toilet feeling sorry for myself, just wanting to cry because
based on what's in that toilet, I don't blame you.
Yeah, you know what it's like. There's something about it, like throwing up as a grown-up. It's so bad. It's so bad. I don't know. It's just there's something about being out of control that I don't like. And I don't know if you feel that way about things, but there's something about it.
I'm a controlling person in certain instances.
It's very upsetting.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very upsetting. Anyway, so that's that. But outside of that, it's been okay. I retired from my big girl job. And so today was going to be super easy to show up on time. Although I am still helping as a freelancer. And there's this new person who's supposed to be replacing me. And oh my God, for the first time in my career, she complained about me to the CEO that I hadn't done a good enough onboarding on Friday.
And this is as you're leaving.
Yeah, but
what's the point of even...
What's the point? And also, she's relying upon me to help her. And I'm like, so I've spent all weekend going, if I wasn't a better person, just going, well, how about I tell you to just fucking enjoy yourself. Don't give you any information. Just fucking figure it out.
You know what you could do now is be an advisor, but just tell her everything wrong. That's what I would do.
The thing is, though, I like to fantasize about this sort of thing, but I can't because my own moral compass won't allow it. I love my friend who owns the company. I love the company. I love the client. And so no matter how much of a cock this person is, I have to do my best possible job. And so I just keep showing up. And I showed up this morning before I started feeling sick, did a really good job, was very pleased with myself, then went into my husband's office and fucking bitched my hardest. And then I was like, I'm going to go around and drop off some stuff and feel good. And then the whole world started to end. So I was like, that's fucking brilliant. And then I was like, oh, great. Then a really important relationship to me, which is ours. I was like, why are you texting me? Why are you going off so hard on the text message? And you're like, and I'll find someone else to do it. I'm like, man,
but to be fair,
bad.
That was after you said, if I'm forced into a situation where you're going to yell at me, then I'll just quit. So that to me says,
that's
okay,
right.
She just wanted to quit anyway, because that's the way these go usually. So
no, I just don't. No, I'm just saying.
And another thing is, and this is the last little bit that I'll get out that, and then we'll move on from this, hopefully. Had you, at least within 5 to 10 minutes of that time, given me an indication rather than hearing from you 40 minutes after the fact, I still would have been pissed, but it wouldn't have been this.
Yeah, honestly, like I said to you, I didn't even have my phone at that time because I was just in the bathroom and I was so overwhelmed by the state of affairs that I completely forgot where I was supposed to be at that time. So I was fighting for my fucking life. And then I came out and then I saw my phone and I was like, oh shit. And then I started to get all of the things and I was like, oh no. And then I said, yeah, of course. And so.
And here's a fun thing. Here's just for perspective. Do you still have the message that I left you on your phone? Can you play that into your microphone? I don't think it was that bad.
No, it wasn't that bad. I just know you. Can I play it? Yeah, let's see.
You put it on speaker and hold it to the mic. It should work.
Let's see.
Because this was also the first one. This was only 15, 20 minutes in when I wasn't that pissed. This is just after I had broken down the door.
Okay, I figured it out.
All right.
Let me turn it all the way up.
Hello, it is 10:20 Monday morning. We're supposed to be doing a show. And we're not, and I'm trying to find you, and based on other stuff happening, I'm frustrated. Let me know what's going on. Thanks. Okay, see? It's not shiny happy, Stu, but it's not the worst.
No, I know. It was also 10:17.
All right. Well, I rounded up 3 minutes. I'm sorry. I will give you
How
exacts
very
from
dare
now
you.
on.
No. Yeah, I know. And I'm sure that you had already texted me at that
Yeah.
point, and I can't even go back to all of them. I'm just like, I was a bit overwhelmed at the
Right.
time. And I was really sad when you accused me of lying to you, because I wouldn't do that. And like I honestly thought that you know me better than that. And so that hurt my feelings.
Well, and honestly, I had that conversation in my head too. I said, this isn't her. She doesn't usually do this. But then I just started saying, well, do you want to come and do this when you can? And you were kind of saying, well, I'm just out. And that said to me again, well, she just wants to quit, but doesn't have the balls to do it, because that's usually what people do. You have more credibility than that in almost all cases.
And what I was saying is, I do want to, but I don't want to come. And this is what I said. I don't want to come if you get angry at me, if I have to keep going and vomiting, or if if it keeps getting interrupted or something. So that's what I said. And if you had said to me, no, I won't, I'll be patient with you, then I would have gone, okay. And so that was what it was. I'm feeling bad. I feel sick. And then I feel I'm already having an emotionally tough time. And then I'm worried that you're angry at me. I don't want you to be angry at me. And then I don't feel like I can take, getting at both barrels from you. And I'm like, I don't want to. And then you're like, well, let's just see what happens. And then I was like, oh, God, I don't want you to make a spectacle out of it for the purposes of the show. So it was like, then I was worried about it. But I'm not avoiding you. I was just trying to communicate that, yeah, dude, I'll come and do the show as soon as I'm physically able.
Okay, but that's not what you said. And here's the difference. Here's the communication differences between two people. You said, I don't want to do the show where you're getting upset and yelling at me, which is literally what you meant. I took that as, I'm not coming to do the show, and here's the reason why. The differences between those two seem like an excuse from my end, and that's why I reacted the way I did.
Right, but that's the thing, is like, I'm not trying to encode it like in a secret squirrel message. Like, I'm directly telling you exactly what I mean. I'm not trying to encode it with some magical, mystical woman communication. How's that for the funniest thing of all time? You thought that I was trying to encode the message in a different way, but I just actually sent you exactly what I meant. And that's
we have a little bit of a gender role reversal, in other words.
That's where the confusion comes from. How very fucking dare I tell you exactly what I mean.
You work in business where you are often having to do that and be that direct and concise. And I work and live with and interact with nothing but women, where I am constantly having to interpret and encode. So yeah, we kind of had a role reversal there.
It's totally fine. But don't worry. I will tell you the truth, and I will be straight with you. I will continue to do that if that's okay with you, because
I would love it that way. That's much better.
I don't have time. Also, I always tell people this, I'm not fucking smart enough for that. People who go through their lives like telling lies and making up things and doing all that sort of stuff. How the fuck do people remember all of that stuff?
I don't have the energy for it whatsoever.
Exactly. Don't have the energy for it. I am way too old for that shit. So anyway, I'm glad that we talked about it, and I am very sorry that you're having a rough day. And I imagine that this week is also a bit nerve-wracking, because you're about to start to take the prep and you've got to go and get the camera up your ass and everything. I'm going to tell you something about it. I'm going to shit inside your brain about it, okay? The prep that you take, what flavor is it? Have you gotten it from the shop yet?
I don't even know. I just know that they were going to send me some stuff that was not covered by insurance, and it was $120. And then they said, oh, we have the free version. Did you want that? I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah, let's
Okay.
go with that. I can slam whatever. I've drank a lot in my years, so I can get past that. And I did this 3 years ago, so I'll be okay with that, I think.
If it's like mango flavor, because I've had to do this a few times, I imagine it's what a Bollywood star's sweat tastes like.
Okay, now you're being mean because you want me to remember that.
That is,
Now you are shitting in my brain.
yeah, exactly. So whilst you were chugging this,
Yeah.
that is what I imagine that it tastes like is Bollywood man sweat. Do you remember when I showed you that Bollywood video of Batman?
Yeah.
The guy in that Batman suit, that's what he tastes like if you were to lick the sweat off his chest after that dynamic dance scene. That's what that prep is going to taste like.
Well, and I just know that I will get the best sleep of my life when I come out of that, and that'll be worth it. And then hopefully the woman says, oh, you have a couple things that are fine, but we're going to send him off for biopsy because that's the way it went last time. But everything is fine up there. You got a hemorrhoid. Hey, I have a hemorrhoid. I'll share that with the world, but nothing big. It's nothing I notice day to day, and just go from there. So we'll see.
Most people do have hemorrhoids, internal and external.
Women get them from pregnancy or something, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm not pregnant, so.
Well, good for you. But good vibes. It's going to be great. You're going to be healthy. Everything's going to come out great. And I'm very proud of you for going and getting it done. It's a very important part of men's preventative health for anybody who is listening. If you haven't, the new recommended time has changed. You should start from the age of 45 now. They have updated the recommendations. It used to be at age 50 to start getting it done. They've now updated it and recommended that men start going and getting their colonoscopies, their preventative colonoscopies from 45. So if you're 45 or older and you haven't had one done, make that appointment.
Yeah, I have a friend of a friend that died because she didn't keep an eye on it. So it's a really good idea to find out what's going on early. Oh, and speaking of that, just a side note, that American Idol woman that got killed with her husband at their house, did you hear about that? It's been in the news?
No?
No, this woman that is a music advisor or something on American Idol was killed in her home with her husband, apparently by a local intruder that was robbing the place, and they walked in on him. That's the latest. And they shot them both, and there were puddles of blood, and it's been all over the news. That apparently is a friend of mine. So I have a friend that was very good friends with her, and now she's all upset. And it's like, wow, you ever want an example of live life because fucked up stuff can happen? That's it right there. Live life to the fullest because you really never know.
That's really, really awful. And I'm really sorry to hear that. Tomorrow's never promised. We are the boys' nanny. In fact, the lady who just gave me her anti-nausea medication. Last Wednesday, she was at our house. She went home. Cousin, who was only 22 years old, was killed in a motor vehicle accident. So they just had a celebration of life on Saturday. But a total freak accident where there was a trailer that was on the freeway and she just drove up it and flipped her car, and a whole bunch of other cars did the exact same thing. She was the only person who lost her life, but a whole bunch of other people were seriously injured, and it was just a freak accident.
And everybody has those or knows somebody that has those. And there's examples of, yeah, you should really live for all you got today because you never know. So,
yeah, absolutely.
And we're going to do a short show today because of your issues. We'll do that. There's two big things I want to get out before we end the show. The first thing is we are just back from vacation and you had gone to a farm. So I came up with this in my head. Emily was on a farm, E-I-E-I-O, with a
Caw-caw!
here and
I'm a sour old cunt.
there,
Caw-caw!
everywhere.
My dick, bitch.
Emily was on a farm, E-I-E-I-O.
I'm a sour old cunt.
So that is something I had planned. That was gonna be the fun start of the show today.
I do enjoy that. That is very, very funny. As an aside, though, I have to tell you, this place was awesome. Now, I know that you are not a meat eater, but I feel like this is the kind of place that if you were ever going to get behind eating meat again, this is the kind of place that you would purchase from.
You're saying it's good to get to know the animals and then you slaughter them personally? Is that the way it works out, or?
I mean, I wouldn't put it that way,
Okay.
but it's a farm that is family owned, 100% regenerative, humane, zero waste. All of their cows are actual pasture raised, all of their goats. They're not fed anything. They don't use any pesticides. They're rotated through green pastures. They don't mass produce and mass kill things. For example, all of their chickens, they're not in those horrible batteries. They're in these really nice chicken houses where every day they get a trailer and they move them to nice new fresh grass. So they get grass and bugs and all of those different bits and pieces, and they're let out to free reign. They grow food for the animals, and then they compost everything, and it's zero waste. So they use all the beef tallow. They have candles and body care and all of that kind of stuff.
So you go out there and they do all this and you stay there and eat them for breakfast and see how the farm works and all that kind of thing. And
yeah, exactly. And our kids went to a summer camp there. And so they learned about, the importance of different types of grasses on protecting the soil, how to take care of the animals. They had the opportunity to play with baby goats and collect free-range eggs. And the whole thing about this particular farm, it's called White Oak Pastures, and it's in the south of Georgia. It's about sustainable farming that's good for people. It's good for the planet. And check it out. It was really, really interesting. The other thing that's really nice about what White Oak Pastures has done is industrialized farming had killed the town of Bluffton. Over the last 10 years, the Harris family, they have purchased different parts of the town. They have changed their farming practices to create jobs and opportunities for people. They've brought people into the town. They've brought the town back to life. A lot of the people who live and work there with their children are provided housing for their families. They get fed meals every day at the same place where all of the tourists eat and everything. It is just a really wonderful, nice place. It's just great to see people giving back to the earth in that way. It was, highly recommended. And there's a bunch of places that are like it around, just way better.
it sounds to me like big farm, whatever, comes to town and puts a lot of these smaller guys out of business, like happens with Walmart in a lot of markets. And maybe that's the way it works. And this is the step to taking it back to normalcy, maybe.
Exactly. So Will Harris, who's the gentleman who owns the farm, he and his dad actually went the way of industrialized farming. And he said that way back then, it only took him and 3 minimum wage employees to run the entire beef operation, right? But he realized that that wasn't the right way. And so he completely changed the way that they do things. And now they have 170 employees, many of which who live and work on the farm. And the people love it there. And they're all like one big happy family. It's really funny. They've got these little shirts that say, "We put the cult in agriculture." They're really nice people, and they support all other local businesses and stuff. It's really nice to see. But it's...
Well, I can go either way on whether man was meant to eat meat or not, and I really don't care that much about it. I just choose not to. But I'm pretty committed to the fact that we have so much cancer and so much sickness in our world because we have mass-produced and genetically engineered everything, and that we don't care about that kind of thing. And there was so much less cancer and other things so many years ago because we had natural farms like this and because we did it the way it was intended. And maybe back then you could get away with meat and eggs and butter if it wasn't full of so much other crap that makes you really sick. So no matter what, I think that's the better way to go. And it makes sense to me. We have so much sickness.
Yeah, it's interesting. Hubby and I were talking about this last night, and I don't know if this is a conspiracy theory or not, but there's something that's doing the tour of TikTok that is, back in the day, this is so specific, you can already tell it's true. So back in the day, when like petrochemical pharmaceuticals started to come around, the Rockefellers were pushing them. And so they would pay incentives to universities and doctors and all of that kind of stuff to move away from traditional type medicines, teas, herbal stuff, all of that kind of shit. And then when the cancer rates started spiking, they founded the American Cancer Society.
How convenient.
How convenient. To research and to find treatments that involve more chemicals to fight the chemicals. It's just this hilarious thing.
That give you side effects for which you need other drugs that will give you other side effects. And we're just meant to live, you know?
We're just meant to live. And there's something spiritual about it. Again, I sound like a lunatic, and maybe it's because I have a fever, but...
That's a great quote.
I might actually be hearing things that don't exist, like colors. But when we were out there on the farm, they don't use any pesticides, so it's noisy. I've never seen so many bugs, so many butterflies since I was a kid growing up in the bush. It was absolutely magnificent. And it just felt so nice. Like, as a human, I felt like this is how we're supposed to feel. Being outside, being in the sunshine, not all the hustle and bustle, not smelling cars everywhere, not all the noise pollution. It gets dark when it gets dark. And I left there hungry for whatever that experience was. It was transformative. It was very simple. It's not Disneyland. I mean, it's a farm.
Right.
So it's very rustic. It's like camping. But there is something about that is very good for our souls. And I think that as humans, if we got back there a little bit more, spent more time in nature, we would all be much better off for it. Exactly to your point. I think that we would be a lot healthier.
Yeah, but there's no money in that.
No, there's
So,
no money in that.
Fuck that. We're not going to make any money off it, so why bother?
Well, and the fact that there's no money in it means that it's free. So any of us can go and do it. And I think that's another thing that's really nice. If you have the opportunity, make the time and just get outdoors. Just go somewhere, take your shoes off, stand in the grass, go for a hike. I don't know, anything. But if you're feeling sad, go play outside. That is my big hot tip, brought to you by this fever.
All right. And the only other thing that I wanted to get out this week, because it is very timely, is that it is really important, and everybody listen to me, it is really important that everyone boycott everything involving Paramount because of the Stephen Colbert situation. Do you know about what happened with that?
No, what happened?
Alrighty. Well, Stephen Colbert is a late night talk show host, and Paramount owns CBS, which owns the show, and they just canceled his show because you can connect the dots. He talks shit about Trump, and they wanted to do a merger that the government was overseeing, and Trump was suing them, and they just made a deal 2 weeks ago with Trump, and now all of a sudden he's been fired. And you have to kind of read into that, and it's not that hard to read into it. And I have an audio clip of when it happened. This is CNN reporting on his firing.
Breaking news, CBS is canceling The Late Show with Stephen Colbert. Colbert just making the shocking announcement at his show taping. Now, it's unclear why the show is canceled, but it comes after Colbert spoke out against his parent company, Paramount's $16 million settlement with Trump over the editing of a 60 Minutes interview. In fact, here's what Colbert said just a few days ago.
Now, I believe that this kind of complicated financial settlement with a sitting government official has a technical name in legal circles. It's big fat bribe. Because this all comes as Paramount's owners are trying to get the Trump administration to approve the sale of our network to a new owner, Skydance.
He's doing a little dance there. Dead air.
And now, hearing that show is canceled, Brian Stelter's out front. I mean, Brian, what more are you learning about what is, frankly, a stunning announcement? When we were talking about it, just found out about it here in this commercial break, I said, wait, what? What just happened?
It really doesn't make any sense from the normal business logic of television goes like this. Stephen Colbert is the highest rated program in late night television. He beats his competitors. He's been going at it for 10 years, and frankly, he's been on a hot streak lately. So by the business logic of television, normally he would be in a very safe spot. However, CBS says this is a financial decision given the difficulties with the entire late night sector.
And it's maybe a financial decision because if they don't do this and maybe they made this deal with Trump, they don't get all the financial benefit from all these other deals that they made with him. That could be their rationale too.
There is some truth to that explanation. I reported a couple years ago about the Late Late Show ending with James Corden because it wasn't profitable anymore. So there might be some rationale to this CBS announcement. But almost everybody, upon hearing about this, is connecting it to the Paramount settlement from 2 weeks ago. Because as you said, it was just 2 weeks ago that President Trump struck a deal with the parent of CBS, that $16 million settlement. Of course, Trump later said that there were other terms on top of the $16 million. He referenced getting public service announcements from CBS, for example. And all this comes as one owner of CBS, Sherry Redstone, is about to hand off to a new owner, David Ellison, and his company Skydance Media. There have been speculation raging online for the last 2 weeks about whether Skydance was going to try to push Colbert out. In fact, this had been such a hot topic that Colbert came back from vacation on Monday and he made jokes about it. He said he had a new mustache and so the new owners wouldn't be able to find him. So on Monday, Colbert was joking about possibly being in danger. On Wednesday, he found out his show was being canceled. Today, he announced it. And this all takes effect next May, Aaron. So he does have one more season. But this means one of the staunchest Trump critics on television will be leaving.
So, thoughts? I saw you nodding along and having thoughts as this went on.
That's appalling. I wouldn't be surprised if having him fired was one of the terms.
That's my exact thought. Like when this deal was made, Trump said to them, oh, this guy, he's got to go. If you want this and this, he's got to go. Because that's the way that fucker operates.
100%.
And this is not like I like Stephen Colbert. This is bigger than that. I really don't watch his show. I like him well enough. I don't watch him. But the first thing they do in times of war when they are taking over an enemy is they seize the media outlets. And that is exactly what's happening. It was a month ago, people on 60 Minutes that was referenced here, they quit because Paramount was overseeing the stories that they were doing. And they were not wanting certain information to be released. And they did it anyway, and news directors and all kinds of people decided to quit because it's just not the way our media is supposed to go. So it's just bullshit and terrible, and it is the first step to all this scary stuff that has been going on. So what I want to say to everybody that hears this is fuck Paramount. That's Paramount Plus, CBS TV and streaming, MTV, BET, Nickelodeon, anything connected with them. And if you can let their sponsors know you're doing that, do that too, because it's the only way to get a message across. They're looking out for their own bottom line, and they're fearful of a fascist fuckface president.
Ugh, it's so disgusting. And I know that we had this on the show notes for today as well, as to talk about what's happening with Epstein and all of that sort of stuff. My only hope is that finally the MAGA crowd are starting to smell the bullshit, because 100% he, our president, and Jeffrey Epstein were thick as fucking thieves, and he's trying to cover it up because he is named in those files.
Yep.
And that is why they're not coming out. Plus, he's trying to now sue all of these media outlets that have published a note from him, plus those that have published the files that have already been previously published, by the way. And now he's trying to sue all of the news media for defamation.
My point in that was going to be that I don't know that our president is a kid fucker, but also look at how he is with his own daughter. All the creepy stuff he said in reference to his own daughter being hot, and if they weren't related, they'd be dating, and the pictures of her sitting on his lap, and all the pictures of him with Epstein, it seems to point to kid fucker. I'm not saying for sure. I'm just saying that's what you would kind of think about and go, huh. So when they don't want to put these out, then that kind of says something, especially when they've been saying they want to put them out. And what do you think happened? I don't know that there's an answer to this. What do you think happened that for so long they campaigned that they were going to put out these files and now all of a sudden they don't want to put these out? Did they find something else? Or like that is the part I don't get.
I think they've been told not to. I think that they've known these things.
But Trump himself was campaigning on that is my confusion, you know?
Yeah, but now that he knows what's in them, now he doesn't want it.
Maybe they found something, in other words.
Yeah, right. And Epstein, yes, I think it was underage girls, but I don't think it was all underage girls all the time.
Right.
It started and they started getting groomed and stuff when they were underage, but then they stayed on well past that. So, and it's not, and they're like 14, 15, 16 models. A lot of girls who start modeling are in that age group.
And that's how they were recruited, I'm sure.
Exactly.
Yep.
So it's not what some people might think of where it's like 8, 9, 7, that kind of thing. It's that pubescent young woman age group. But I'm sure that there were other older girls being trafficked as well.
And then just the moral part of this. So many people on the side of the Republicans are just into young girls. And there was that one guy that was trafficking them and he didn't get elected to his cabinet position. God, it would be great if I had his name right now, but whatever. I don't relate to how you get to a point where that's okay. Because I have a thing that I can talk about in the coming weeks where there's this fast food place and they're hiring super hot young girls. And I walk in, I'm like, whoa. And it is like distracting. But I'm also at a place where I'm like, she's not criminally young. She's over 18, but she's way too young for me. And I feel creepy about that. And that is an inner instinct that I have. And how does everybody not have that? And is it just every person in power decides that they can overlook that when they're dealing with this and that they're in a position of power and they can just fuck whoever they want to fuck? It's just gross to me.
It's super duper gross. Yeah. I have no idea. And I can't remember the name of that guy either, but it's super
Gates,
gross.
Matt Gates.
Matt Gates.
That was it.
So then another thing too is look at what happened with that Cassie Watsy Chops and Diddy.
Yeah.
He got found not guilty of trafficking her, right? It's so hard to get a conviction on, like he said, she said. There's probably so many people who've made accusations, so many people who maybe have moved on with their lives and don't want anyone to know about what happened to them. They don't want to be attached to that because, one, they might get killed. I think that's very real.
All that missing jail footage from Epstein, sure.
Honestly, what about even the Virginia, whatever her name was? She apparently killed herself in Australia.
I don't remember that one.
Yeah, the primary accuser of Jeffrey Epstein, the one who got Ghislaine Maxwell locked up. Yeah, she killed herself last year, allegedly.
I was thinking of, I think there's a Virginia involved with Trump, too, that he allegedly raped. I think there was something like that. It's hard to keep track of all the sexual mishaps, you know?
Yeah, it's so hard to keep. The list of victims is so long that we can't keep track of them. And I think that is frightful. It's just absolutely horrific. But I 100% believe that our president is a sexual predator.
Yep. And to your point, if Diddy got off for doing what he did, that's a powerful person, but also just amplify that by 20 or 30 times when it's the president, and then you'll get to why nothing is getting done and why everything is corrupt and people are fucking kids. So there you have it.
Yeah, it's so fucked up. It's just so stressful. Whoa, what about Coldplay?
I am ready to end the show. I've decided we can just end the show. At Coldplay, that was a fucked up situation. Because I get that you're not feeling good and we can end it early. It's fine. Yeah. I was honestly going to do about 15 minutes. And as is often the case, one of the reasons we like you so is that I say, let's do 15 minutes. And now it's a 45, 50-minute show. So,
you know, I'm trying to do a good job.
You do a good job. You react to my shit better than anybody that has ever been on this show. And you do new things with that and take it in directions better than anyone has. It just, the last couple weeks have been a struggle technically and just in general with getting stuff on track. So I'm sorry you don't feel good. And I'm sorry I got worked up, I guess.
Well, I do appreciate it. I'm not out here trying to make your life difficult. But thank you for your understanding. I hope that you have a really great day. Hopefully my audio is good this week.
That would be good. Yeah, that's the other thing. I could
You haven't heard any issues this
no,
week,
and
right?
that thing that I had in my head was allegedly just a thing that was in studio only. They said it didn't affect the audio once done, but I could see that the waves were lower when I got the waves back. So it's one of those things where they have this great new feature and then turn it on, and probably they sent out an email saying that they turned it on, but I don't have time to keep track of their shit. Just leave it off and tell people they can use it if they want to use it.
Yeah, right. I don't like how they default to turning it on. Why just default it to off?
And I literally have had it happen that they send you in to record a brand new way, and there's settings in the background that are turned off that are still turned on, and that screws everything up because they had to go, oh yeah, that shouldn't be on, and it's on in the background. Well, don't give us new features, just make the shit work. All right.
Yeah. It's not a feature if it's a fuck up.
Yeah, and their Apple app is the worst thing ever. That Riverside FM app for Apple is the worst. If you're doing a podcast, never use it.
Never use it.
There you go. If there were better services, I'd say use those anyway. So
this is the best of a bad bunch. So
yeah,
we're going to keep doing it and using it, but we're going to be angry about it the whole time.
that's it. That's the way I go through life, God damn it. All right, well, honestly, I'm happy we're at a better place and this worked out because I didn't want it not to.
Thank you. Yeah, I was so confused. All right, well, have a good day.
Bye.
Okay, you know how this goes. Like us, subscribe, tell your friends, write a nice review, engage with us. We're Total Babble on Instagram, on Facebook, on Threads, and on Blue Sky. Email is show@totalbabble.com. The Total Babble Podcast.